Welcome to Best Buds Gardening. I'm Julie. Today, let's learn how to grow honey rock melons, seed to harvest. Honey rock melons are about 6 inches in diameter and weigh 3 to 4 pounds. They're smaller and sweeter than what we know as cantaloupes in the United States. You'll get 5 to 7 melons per plant. So, let's get the seeds started. 2 to 4 weeks before your last frost date, we'll soak our seeds for several hours in some warm water. When they sink to the bottom, they're done soaking. Then we'll place them into a damp paper towel inside a baggie so they don't dry out. We'll keep this someplace warm for 3 to 5 days. Honey rock seeds germinate best at a temperature of about 75 degrees. So now our seeds have germinated and it's time for planting. We'll take a cup filled with compost, drainage holes on the bottom, and we'll make a little hole about a ½ inch deep, set Mr. Seed inside, and gently cover him up. Then we'll give him a nice little drink to settle him in, and we'll continue to keep him someplace warm until he hatches. If it's warm enough outside, you can also direct plant these, but make sure daytime temperatures are consistently at about 70 degrees and make sure he gets at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. A couple of weeks later, our melons are up out of the soil enjoying the warm spring weather. Honey rocks do well in large containers. A few weeks later, they look like this. And a month later, they look like this and are starting to grow tendrils so they can climb if necessary. Honey rocks are pretty heavy feeders, so you might want to give them a little bit of general fruit and vegetable fertilizer right about now. June 29 now, and the male blossoms have started to make their appearance. The female blossoms will start showing up in about another 10 days. This is a male blossom. It is a flower that sits on a stem. This is a female blossom that sits on a fuzzy baby honey rock melon that sits on a stem. But this will never turn into a melon if we don't get her pollinated. There are a couple of ways to do this. You can take a paintbrush and collect some pollen from the center of the male blossom. And then transfer that to the center of the female blossom. The other way is to pick off a male flower and just pull off all his little petals. The pollen is hanging out way down in there. Just pick all those off. Might have to remove a little of this green stuff here. That is a horticultural term, by the way, green stuff. Just peel that right off. Okay, now we have an exposed male center, and we're going to take a female blossom and directly with the center of the male flower transfer that pollen right onto the female. Can you see the little yellow pollen grains that are now deposited in the center of that female flower? It's July 21st, and this melon has been successfully pollinated. Pollen is most viable in the morning, before the temperatures reach 80 degrees. Above 80 degrees, the pollen is no longer viable. Here's our girl, July 24th and July 30th. By the 5th of August, our first honey rock is starting to get some netting on the bottom. 2 weeks later, she's starting to look like an actual melon. At this time, we want to start looking at the tendril between her and the first leaves we run into. When that starts to dry out, she's ripening. When she's ripe, that tendril will be brown and she will slip easily off the vine. No pruners needed. Okay, happy honey rock melon growing. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell icon so you'll know when I post a new video.